Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about a team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. I think it'll be hard to find either on the Raiders or in the NFL, really, a room or a position group that was more helped by the offseason than the Raiders running back situation. Not so much because of who we got, but that's a big part of it. But it's no shocker that we had the worst running back group last season. We're last in the league in rushing yards per game last season. And it just didn't click. A lot of it was the fact that we had a running blocking scheme that wasn't all that great. We had an offensive coordinator that was really bad. We switched offensive coordinators and we switched offensive line coaches in the middle of the season. We had a bunch of backups trying to be lead backs, and it just didn't work out. But the good thing is help is on the way. We got one in the draft. We got one in free agency. We got a lot of stuff coming for this team right now in this season that's going to really improve what's going to happen with our rushing attack in 2025. We're going to get to all that. Before we do, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video. All right, let's start with Ashton Jeanty. Okay, I think it was like the worst kept secret. I talked about this before in the NFL that Ashton Jeanty was coveted by the Raiders. Now, if someone picked him before us, nothing we can do, right? But if he was there, I was pretty confident. I think a lot of people were pretty confident that either they were going to go with Ashton Jeanty or one of the big-time offensive linemen. Will Campbell was taken right before, so you know what? It's time to get this running back room some juice, and we did that with Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty, what more can you ask for? This dude is durable. He runs with power. He runs with finesse. He can run up the middle. He can do run on the outside. He can do the zone gap scheme. He can do power scheme. I mean, he can do anything. He catch the ball out of the backfield. This guy is just a jack of all trades and a master of most. There's one thing he needs to work on. We'll get to that. Probably the most complete running back coming out of college in quite some time. I say since Saquon Barkley. Let's try to say that again. I say since Saquon Barkley. Anyway, I think that he's the best running back to come out of college since Saquon Barkley. Just not just the array of skills that he has, but just the level of those skills is just elite all across the board. We've seen that running backs can transform a running attack by themselves. Even if the blocking isn't all that great, a great running back can make that running attack even better pretty much by himself. But on top of that, we did get a little bolstering in the offensive line category. They were doing a lot better as the season went along. So hopefully, they just take it over from there. But as far as Ashton Jeanty goes, the contact balance that he has, he's hard to bring down. You're hardly ever going to see one guy bring him down or even get him out of bounds. He wants to get the extra yard. He's low to the ground, so it's really hard to get a solid hit on him. And when you do, he runs with super power. Again, like I said, catches the ball really well out of the backfield. He is our lead back. Okay, make no mistake about it. Maybe in the beginning of the season, he's going to split time a little bit with Raheem Mostert just to get his feet wet. But make no mistake, Ashton Jeanty is the lead back. And that's one of the things that you need to have if you want to have a good running attack. You need to have a leader. There are guys out there, there are teams out there that have multiple running attack, multiple backs and everything like that. But there is always one guy who's the lead back. That's Ashton Jeanty for us. I feel that he can have a total yardage seasons in between what Bijan Robinson had, which is around 1,200, and then what Saquon Barkley had, which is around 1,800. He's going to be within that range. I see him being around a 1,500-yard overall guy this season, and I think that's going to be a really good thing because that gives other running backs the ability to perform as well where they're best at. Now, the thing with Ashton Jeanty that we need to look at here is a lot of the passing downs he may not be in, or he may have some help because his pass protection isn't the best. He can do it. If you guys haven't seen the video, go watch the video that I did on Ashton Jeanty breaking down his Boise State tape. He can pass protect when he does everything properly, but he's a little bit smaller in stature. Okay, now he's rocked up, right? He's buff, but he's a little bit shorter. So when these guys are blitzing, he needs to take them on. He needs to have the right technique. If not, he did kind of mess it up a little bit sometimes when it pass protection. So he fixes his pass protection, okay? Everything else is top-notch quality, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, all right? So you can plug him into any system, behind any line. He's going to be productive no matter what. So Ashton Jeanty is your lead back going into this season. All right, up next is Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is a guy that has a lot going for him in that he has a lot of Ashton Jeanty in his game. He's just not quite at that level. The speed is still there. The elusiveness is not quite as what it used to be, but it's still good. The power game is there. He does run with power. He's a very physical back. He could catch the ball out of the backfield with any of them in the NFL. This dude is one of the best catching the ball out of the backfield. 2 seasons ago, he scored 21 touchdowns, okay? And a bulk of those were receptions out of the backfield. Slip screens, little short passes, slants out of the backfield, little things like that to get him open in space. When you do that, Raheem Mostert is going to pick up huge chunks. The issue with Raheem Mostert, a couple of things. Number one, his age. He's a little bit older. He's over 30, okay? And that's kind of like the demarcation point when it comes to running backs. A lot of wear and tear on his body. On top of that, he's coming off of a season where he was injured almost the entire season. He had a cracked sternum, and honestly, it's hard to even breathe sometimes when you have that injury, let alone play football. So if he's back, if he's back, if he's healthy, we're going to see more of what we saw 2 years ago, that 21 touchdown guy, than what we saw last season. If that's the case, if he's healthy and we see that guy, we're going to have one of, if not the best running back room in the NFL. Because these guys, when they're on, there's nothing that either of these guys can't do. Now, as far as his role, I see Raheem Mostert being kind of like a mentor to Ashton Jeanty, but a guy who can still get it done himself. I see early in the season, the carries maybe even being, even like a 60-40 split or even like a 65-35, something like that. Eventually, as the year goes on, I see Ashton Jeanty being the younger and fresher back, getting more carries, more of the bulk. I think gets used to playing in the NFL. But don't be surprised if early in the season, Raheem Mostert gets a lot of touches in some situations where Ashton Jeanty will get them later in the year. All right, up next is Zamir White. Zamir White is the guy that was given a chance, man. He was given a chance to make it happen last season. He just couldn't do it. He showed that he needs a lot more work on being able to elude defenders in the hole and be able to select the right hole to hit when you're in the running game. And he just ran into a lot of the back of the offensive lineman. He ran right into tackles a lot of times. And he's the guy that really needs to improve his footwork more than anything else going into this season. One of the things we need to look at with Zamir White is the fact that he has a lot of big competition when it comes to making this roster. I think Zamir McCormack, who we're going to talk about next, has really closed that gap or even surpassed him running-wise. So he's not as good a runner as some of the other guys looking for a spot on the roster. He really doesn't do much on special teams as far as returning. Now, he can block and do other things and be a gunner and all that stuff and, like, be a guy who goes out and covers punts and kicks. But is he a guy who's going to be able to return? Probably not. And that's going to be something that's going to really hamper his ability to make this 53-man roster. He's a bubble guy. These next few guys I'm going to talk about are bubble guys. I think they're going to keep 4 running backs. The first 2 locks, right? It's going to be Ashton Jeanty. It's going to be Raheem Mostert. After that, 2 out of these next 3 is going to be up in the air. And when you have the emphasis that Pete Carroll does on the versatility and playing special teams, I really do think that Zamir McCormack is a better receiver and a better runner of the ball. He's not quite as strong as Zamir White is, and he's not the special teams guy that Dylan Laube is. Now, Zamir White needs to have a huge training camp and a huge preseason. He needs to show that his footwork and his recognition have gotten much better than he's shown in the past. If that happens, I can see him carving a role in this offense. If not, I feel he's going to be cut. If not picked up by someone else, maybe even put on the practice squad, but I doubt it. All right, we talked about Zamir McCormack, and Zamir McCormack is a guy who kind of burst on the scene, was an under-the-radar guy. He was, in the practice squad a few seasons and got his shot last season. When he got his shot last season was right when the offensive line was starting to click, so it was kind of a marriage, a good thing that happened, and he had some nice games for us. Unfortunately, he gets injured. It's a kind of a bummer, a guy that was in the practice squad, worked his way up, finally got his chance, gets hurt. Well, he's back, and he has a really strong chance to make this roster. not only off of his running and his receiving ability, but also on special teams. Pete Carroll loves these very versatile guys who can do multiple things. The more you can do well with Pete Carroll, the better chance you have of making this roster. Zamir McCormack is a little bit of a smaller back, but he's really good. What Zamir White has and Zamir McCormack doesn't is also the opposite. Zamir McCormack has what Zeus White doesn't have as far as a runner goes. He's very good at identifying his seams and his running lanes, and he's really good at eluding tacklers. I think that Zamir McCormack is going to make this squad. I really do. I think that he's just too good to not put on this team for the versatility that he has. All right, last up is Dylan Laube. Dylan Laube was, I believe, a 6th-round pick last season, and he really underwhelmed. Now, he did fairly well on special teams. He had a nice return there at one of the later games of the season, but he had that big fumble against Pittsburgh, and he really didn't hit the field after that on the offensive side. Dylan Laube needs to show that he's much more than a return guy. He needs to show that he's more than a special teamer, because in a Pete Carroll system, you need to be able to do more than one thing if you're not a starter. If you're not a starter or a heavy rotational guy, you have to be more versatile than that. Dylan Laube has to show that ability to catch the football out of the backfield that he showed in college. This guy is really good running routes, okay? He cooked in the Senior Bowl last season. He cooked a lot of DBs on his route running. And one of the things that we need to look at when it's Dylan Laube is, what does he do in the preseason when he's in the game? He's going to get his opportunity. He's going to get his chance. He needs to show that he's more than a returner, more than a coverage guy to be able to make this team. I personally think he's going to do it. I think that he's a type of versatile back that you're going to want on this team if you're a Pete Carroll. Some of the big things to take a look at, some of like the storylines, right? The big thing is offensive scheme, okay? Chip Kelly likes to run a particular style of offense where the running backs do a lot of heavy lifting. They not only run the ball a lot, but they catch the ball a lot as well. So you need to be able to do a lot of things at a high level if you're going to be on the field as a running back for Chip Kelly. That's why I think Raheem Mostert and Ashton Jeanty are going to be on the field quite a bit, even if it's not one or the other. I mean, they might both be on the field at the same time. That's what Chip Kelly has done in the past. Also, take a big look at what happens with Raheem Mostert and his health. Again, he's over 30. He was injured last season. How does he come back from that? On top of injuries, Zamir White was lost last season, I think in week 11. He was lost for the entire year coming off of injury. So Zamir McCormack coming off of injury. We got a lot of these running backs coming off of injury. On top of that, a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the position. I really do think that it's going to be Ashton Jeanty as the unquestioned starter. You're going to have Raheem Mostert in a heavy rotation, getting a lot of snaps and a lot of touches. I believe it's going to be Zamir McCormack as a primary backup to both of those, and Dylan Laube as like a third option, also more of a special teams guy. I think Zeus White is the odd man out, and here's a big reason why. He is more of a power back, right, in power sets, short yardage. But when you have a guy like J.J. Pegues, if J.J. Pegues comes in and does what he did at Ole Miss and able to pick up these short yardage gains as a 315-pound defensive lineman and not cough the ball up and being able to hit the right gap and run over guys to get this short yardage, either first downs or touchdowns, that takes away the role of Zamir White, and Zamir White really doesn't have much to do out there. So I really do think with the power that both Jeanty and Mostert and the possibility of J.J. Pegues running the ball, you don't need a power back like Zamir White in there, and I think he's going to be the odd man out when it comes to the running back position. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video. Guys, keep on crushing it, man. I really appreciate it. I know it's the dog days of summer right now. There's nothing going on. I'm trying to make all this content for you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it. You guys show your appreciation to me by commenting, subscribing, hitting that notification button, and telling anyone you can about Raiders versus the world, all right? So everyone, please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.